Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman?
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while the town...
In the quiet town of Dalton, Illinois, a community of just 20,000 residents, a firestorm of controversy has engulfed the embattled mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Allegations of corruption have shaken her administration, accusing her of the shocking misuse of taxpayer funds, leaving residents furious and disillusioned. Once seen as a promising political figure, Henyard now faces claims that she has been living a life of luxury at the expense of her constituents, indulging in lavish trips, first-class flights, and extravagant dinners, all funded by public money. For a small town already struggling with economic challenges, these allegations are particularly devastating. Striking a deeper chord of betrayal among the residents, reports suggest that Henyard's alleged misuse of taxpayer money is not an isolated incident. The FBI is reportedly investigating her financial dealings, with sources indicating that a wealth of evidence could land her in legal trouble, potentially facing over 20 years in prison if convicted. This investigation has only fueled the growing sense of outrage among Dalton's residents, many of whom are grappling with high taxes and limited public services, and now feel that their hard-earned money has been diverted to fund the mayor's personal luxuries. These alleged extravagances are not limited to first-class flights or gourmet dinners. Henyard is accused of spending taxpayer funds on globe-trotting trips that highlight the disconnect between her lavish lifestyle and the financial struggles of her community. While some of Henyard's supporters have dismissed these allegations as politically motivated attacks, the mounting evidence and ongoing federal investigation suggest there is more to this story than partisan mudslinging. As the details of the investigation unfold, Dalton residents are left grappling with the painful reality of how such alleged misuse of public funds could occur in a town where every dollar is critical to maintaining basic services. The controversy has shed light on what critics describe as a troubling pattern of governance under Henyard's tenure, revealing systemic flaws in the town's oversight and accountability mechanisms. These flaws may have allowed corruption to flourish unchecked, leaving the community vulnerable to abuse of power. As a result, calls for accountability are growing louder. Community leaders have demanded transparency from Henyard's office and are calling for a full audit of municipal spending during her time in office. Meanwhile, political observers are speculating on the potential long-term consequences of the scandal for Dalton's future governance and Henyard's legacy. The case is increasingly seen as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked political power in small towns, where limited oversight can create opportunities for misconduct. The federal investigation into Henyard reportedly focuses on potential misappropriation of funds and violations of ethics laws, with sources alleging that federal agents have gathered substantial evidence, including documents, testimonies, and financial records, that could point to significant corruption. Legal experts suggest that if the charges stick, Henyard could face a range of consequences, from restitution orders to substantial jail time as the investigation continues. The controversy is taking its toll on Henyard's political standing. Even some of her former political allies are beginning to distance themselves from her, seemingly to protect their own reputations. Henyard's response to the mounting allegations has been largely defiant. She has publicly dismissed the accusations as baseless, framing herself as a victim of a politically motivated effort to tarnish her administration. However, her repeated denials have done little to quell the public's growing skepticism. For many residents, the scale and scope of the alleged misconduct make her explanations increasingly difficult to accept. The tension in Dalton has reached a boiling point, with town hall meetings growing more contentious. Furious residents are demanding answers and accountability, with many calling for Henyard's resignation or removal from office. The unfolding scandal has also caught the attention of national media, turning Dalton, previously a small, overlooked town, into a symbol of political dysfunction. The irony of a small-town mayor allegedly engaging in such high-level corruption has captured the public's imagination, fueling broader conversations about the need for reforms in municipal governance and transparency. At the heart of the scandal lies a critical question: how could a town like Dalton, with its modest resources and struggling economy, allow such alleged excesses to go unchecked? Critics point to a lack of oversight and accountability within the town's government, which may have emboldened Henyard to act with impunity. In a small community where every dollar is crucial to maintaining basic services, the idea that such extravagant spending could occur without detection is both shocking and deeply unsettling for Henyard. The road ahead looks increasingly precarious. The fallout from the allegations threatens to derail her political career, stain her legacy, and leave her battling both legal and public relations crises. Despite maintaining her innocence, the mounting pressure from the public, the growing contempt among her allies, and the looming federal investigation paint a grim picture of her prospects. Even as she continues to deny the allegations, the public's growing skepticism and the relentless pursuit of the truth suggest that the days of her political career may be numbered. The residents of Dalton, who once looked to her for leadership, are now demanding accountability, and it remains to be seen whether Henyard can weather the storm or whether the scandal will be the final chapter in her political journey.
Fortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. So, but like I said, just some.
The trouble surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dalton, Illinois, a small village with a population of just over 20,000, first came to light when investigative journalists at WGN News uncovered shocking details about her questionable spending. The revelation sparked widespread outrage, revealing that Henyard had racked up over $67,000 in travel-related expenses within just 5 months, a staggering figure that left residents stunned. These expenses included first-class flights, stays at luxury hotels, extravagant dining, and even personal shopping sprees, all charged to the taxpayers of the economically struggling village. This disclosure ignited fury among Dalton's residents, who were already burdened with high taxes and limited public services. As further details emerged about Henyard's lavish lifestyle, the frustration only grew. Critics questioned how a mayor of a modest village like Dalton could justify such extravagant spending, particularly when the town faced critical issues such as aging infrastructure and underfunded public programs. Once celebrated as a trailblazing political figure, Henyard quickly became a symbol of alleged corruption and disregard for the public trust. Prompting calls for accountability, public scrutiny of Henyard's administration deepened as the media continued to investigate, exposing a pattern of spending that appeared detached from the community's needs. What began as outrage over excessive travel expenses soon evolved into a broader examination of her leadership and the transparency of her governance. The revelations also caught the attention of state and federal agencies, triggering investigations that hinted at the possibility of deeper misconduct. Residents' anger reached a boiling point at town hall meetings, where Henyard was met with pointed questions and calls for her resignation. While some supporters of the mayor insisted that the accusations were politically motivated, their voices were drowned out by the overwhelming public outcry. As the controversy unfolded, Henyard attempted to defend her actions, arguing that the expenditures were part of her efforts to represent Dalton on a broader stage. However, her justifications failed to resonate with a community struggling to reconcile her apparent opulence with their own financial hardships. WGN's bombshell report not only cast a shadow over Henyard's administration, but also set the stage for one of the most scrutinized local scandals in the state. The implications extended far beyond Dalton, drawing national attention to the challenges of accountability in small-town governance. This was just the beginning of a larger saga that would unravel a web of controversy, sparking a reckoning for Mayor Henyard in the entire town of Dalton.
And that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration has plunged deeper into controversy amid revelations of blatant financial mismanagement and efforts to conceal lavish spending, sparking outrage among the already disillusioned residents of Dalton. The controversy began when investigative journalists from WGN News requested access to government spending records through a Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) request. Henyard's administration refused to comply, directly violating Illinois state laws that mandate public access to such records. Even after the Illinois Attorney General's office intervened, issuing a directive to release the documents, the administration remained defiant. The situation escalated when WGN News took the matter to court, ultimately leading to a judge's order compelling the village to release several pages of credit card statements. What followed was a bombshell revelation. Between July and November 2023, Henyard's administration spent tens of thousands of dollars on luxury accommodations, high-end restaurants, and even hired a personal photographer. These expenses seem more fitting for a celebrity lifestyle than the modest budget of a small-town mayor overseeing a financially struggling community. The receipts uncovered charges for opulent hotel stays in prime locations, extravagant dining experiences, and other expenses that appeared to benefit Henyard personally rather than serve the public interest. For a town already grappling with economic challenges, failing infrastructure, and underfunded services, These revelations felt like a slap in the face to residents. Many felt betrayed by a mayor whose priorities seemed to lie with personal comfort and image. Rather than addressing the pressing needs of the town, Henyard's defenders argued that the expenses were necessary for her role in representing the village, though this defense was met with skepticism given the scale and extravagance of the spending. The release of these records marked a turning point in an already growing scandal, fueling public demands for her resignation and intensifying legal scrutiny. Legal experts pointed out that the administration's initial refusal to release the documents not only violated transparency laws, but also suggested a deliberate effort to hide potential misconduct. Town hall meetings became increasingly tense as furious residents demanded accountability. Many questioned how such extravagant expenditures could be justified in a village with so many unmet needs. Community members expressed frustration over missed opportunities to allocate those funds toward essential services, like repairing roads, supporting schools, and funding community programs. Henyard's administration, already facing allegations of mismanagement and the misuse of public resources, now found itself under even more intense scrutiny. The financial records released by the court not only confirmed suspicions, but amplified them, turning Henyard's financial mismanagement into a focal point for broader debates about accountability in small-town governance. The episode exposed systemic failures in oversight and prompted calls for reforms to prevent similar abuses in the future for Henyard. The fallout from the scandal has become a defining moment in her career, leaving her to navigate a complex web of legal, political, and public relations challenges. For the residents of Dalton, it represents a painful reckoning with the consequences of unchecked leadership. The town now finds itself grappling with how to move forward from a controversy that continues to reverberate throughout the community, further eroding trust in its local government.
The administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily...
Things have taken a murky turn in the ongoing drama surrounding Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton. The latest developments suggest her political career may be on the verge of collapsing. At the heart of the scandal lies a charity she allegedly founded, the Tiffany Henyard Carr Foundation. Supposedly aimed at helping cancer patients, it quickly became the subject of scrutiny, with claims that it was little more than a scam. Key issues arose when the charity failed to file proper financial records, and discrepancies surfaced between the amounts raised and what was reported. This led many to suspect that Henyard was pocketing more money than she let on, and whispers about her financial misdeeds began to grow louder, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real drama began with the civil lawsuit filed by a former assistant, which could prove to be the final nail in Henyard's already precarious political coffin. The lawsuit alleges that while on a work trip to Las Vegas, the assistant was sexually assaulted by a village trustee. The lawsuit accuses Henyard of being complicit, and here's where it gets even juicier. Henyard herself is named as a defendant in the case. The details surrounding this incident are disturbing. After dinner with the trustee, the assistant reported feeling disoriented and lightheaded. She woke up the next day in the trustee's hotel room with no memory of how she got there. The situation only worsened when the trustee reportedly boasted about the assault and even FaceTimed an officer from the Henyard police detail. Showing the unconscious woman on camera, Fox 32's investigation revealed even more shocking details about Henyard's use of public resources, including her spending on a police protection detail that cost the village thousands of dollars, ultimately pulling officers away from patrolling the streets. What's even more appalling is Henyard's alleged response to the assistant's claims. Instead of defending her employee, Henyard reportedly put the assistant on unpaid medical leave without her consent, effectively silencing her. This led to public outrage, with many demanding Henyard's resignation. As the scandal deepened, the FBI stepped in to investigate. The investigation has reportedly escalated, with the FBI conducting raids on Henyard's office and the offices of some of her closest allies. Agents have combed through a massive amount of documents, emails, and financial records, uncovering what appears to be a compelling case against the mayor. Rumors are swirling that the FBI is looking into allegations of corruption, money laundering, and the misappropriation of taxpayer funds. The investigation has expanded beyond Henyard, reportedly implicating several village officials, police officers, and even local business owners. One business owner claimed Henyard demanded a $3,500 political contribution in exchange for renewing his business license. When the business owner refused, his license was allegedly revoked, and he was falsely accused of illegal activities. If these allegations are true, this would be a classic case of pay-to-play corruption, and the FBI seems determined to bring the people involved to justice as the investigation intensifies. Henyard's reputation continues to crumble. The FBI's scrutiny is making it harder for her to keep up the facade. The mayor, however, isn't going down without a fight. She has hired a powerful criminal defense attorney, Brindley, who is known for his aggressive tactics and involvement in high-profile cases. Brindley was the defense lawyer for R. Kelly's former business manager during the singer's controversial trial. The fact that Henyard has brought in such a high-profile, controversial lawyer speaks volumes about the severity of her situation. It's clear that she knows she's in deep trouble and is doing everything she can to save herself, but hiring Brindley may be a double-edged sword. While he may be a fierce lawyer, his reputation isn't without controversy. He has faced accusations of encouraging witnesses to lie under oath, and his legal strategies have often stirred up criticism. Even more suspicious is the fact that Henyard is personally paying for Brindley's legal services rather than using village funds. This raises further questions. If she had nothing to hide, why would she hire someone with such a problematic history? What is she so afraid of that she's willing to risk the damage that comes with associating herself with Brindley? Brindley's presence at village board meetings has sparked even more suspicion. Rather than sitting quietly in the back, he's been sitting right next to Henyard and has even attended closed executive sessions with the board. This has angered many trustees and the public, with critics asking why a criminal defense lawyer needs to be present at government meetings. What information is he gathering? What is he trying to protect? The optics of the situation only add to the growing sense of desperation surrounding Henyard's actions. The whispers of corruption have gotten louder, with rumors suggesting that Henyard is already preparing for the worst. According to some sources, she's been shifting money around to protect her assets in case the FBI's investigation leads to criminal charges. There's even talk that she may consider fleeing the country if things get worse. As the investigation continues, the pressure on Henyard is mounting. The FBI has reportedly been combing through her phone logs, emails, and communications with former employees, uncovering a trail of evidence that could further implicate her. This isn't just a matter of financial mismanagement. Some of the allegations point to more serious misconduct in addition to the charity and the lawsuit. There are even more questions about how Henyard has been using public funds. One former employee alleged that Henyard used village funds to pay for a family member's personal legal fees. Another claimed to have witnessed Henyard giving a large envelope of cash to a local businessman in exchange for political support. Henyard's use of a personal security detail has also been highly controversial. Critics argue that she's using police officers as her personal bodyguards, chauffeurs, and errand runners. Some have even gone so far as to call it an army that intimidates anyone who dares to oppose her. The more the FBI digs, the more it looks like Henyard's days as mayor are numbered. There are whispers that some of the police officers in her security detail may turn on her to protect their own reputations, and it's clear that the public is losing patience with her. As the walls close in, local residents are calling for Henyard to step down and for a recall election to be held. Some trustees are even pushing for the recall, stating that the village needs a fresh start and a clean house. The public is fed up with what they see as years of corruption and mismanagement. Despite the mounting pressure, Henyard remains defiant. In a recent statement, she dismissed all the allegations as nothing more than political smears designed to take her down. She's vowed to fight on, saying, "I'm not going anywhere. I've done nothing wrong, and I will prove my innocence." However, with the FBI's investigation in full swing, the civil lawsuit hanging over her head, and public opinion turning against her, it's hard to see how Henyard can weather this storm. The evidence against her is piling up, and it's only a matter of time before something breaks. So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? Will she face justice for her alleged crimes, or will she somehow manage to wiggle her way out of this mess? And what about the people of Dalton? Can they ever trust their local government again after everything that's come to light? The situation is still evolving, but one thing is clear. This story is far from over, and the people of Dalton are watching closely. As the investigation deepens, more and more individuals are coming forward with information that could spell the end for Henyard's political career. Whether she'll be able to weather the storm or whether this is the end of her time in office remains to be seen.